ended up in Ulta in the drugstore section the other day to pick up one mascara, and I came out with 5 different drugstore products. So I figured this would be the perfect time to show you guys a full face drugstore tutorial. All the products that I've been using every day have been pretty much drugstore anyways, so I figured I'd show you what I've been loving. So if you guys want to see what I use to put on my face, then let's get into it. Alright guys, so starting with a clean face, I'm actually just going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, and I'm just going to take that on a Real Techniques sponge. This is pretty much just like the Beauty Blender, except for it's not, it's Real Techniques. And the cool thing about this sponge is that it kind of has this little flat base here, so it makes it really easy for me to put on my foundation. So I'm just going to use that and put this all over my face. So I'm just taking this sponge and I'm going to blend this all the way into my skin until it is completely blended. And I actually just recently picked up this Real Techniques sponge at the drugstore, and I've actually really been loving it. It feels actually no different to me than the Beauty Blender. So if you guys have tried it, definitely let me know if you like it or not. And I actually think that this is really cool too, because this flat end here makes it super easy to apply and blend out your foundation. Alright, so moving to concealer, I'm actually going to be using one of my favorite concealers of all time, and it is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. This stuff, I don't know what they do to it, but it is absolutely amazing. So I'm actually just going to take this and put it under my eyes and use it to highlight my face a little bit. So I'm just going to take this and go in a V shape underneath my eyes to cover up any dark circles. And then I'm just going to take it a little on my forehead, a little bit down my nose, a little on my Cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin. So once I'm finished with that, I'm just going to take that same Real Techniques sponge. I'm just going to use the other end, the pointy end, and I'm just going to use that to blend underneath my eyes and the rest of my concealer as well. And that's the great thing about this sponge, is not only do you have that flat end to really get your foundation blended in nice, you can use the other end to really get underneath your eyes and in those small places like in the corner of your nose and just like in your mouth and stuff. And it really works great. So if you guys want to try something out, or you love the Beauty Blender in general, try this one out. It is from Ulta, or you can find it really at any drugstore, and it works great. So I'm just going to blend that out. Alright, so now to set that under eye concealer, I'm going to go in with the NYX HD setting powder, and I'm just going to take that on an e.l.f. blush brush, which, yeah, I know this is the blush brush, but this actually works really great for setting the under eye concealer. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that NYX powder, and I'm just going to pack this underneath my eyes, and this is really just going to help set my eyes and not make them crease throughout the day. Alright, so to set the rest of my face, I'm actually going to take the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Powder, and I'm going to be taking that same e.l.f. brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just put it in my T-zone where I would need it, just because I don't want too much foundation on, especially just for every day. So I just pretty much put that on my chin, on my nose, actually on my forehead, on my nose, on my chin, and that is pretty much the areas where I would tend to crease or get the most oily. So that is pretty much where I like to focus this powder. Alright, so for bronzer, I'm taking the NYX Matte Bronzer, which is actually one of my favorite drugstore bronzer, just because it's hard to find a matte drugstore bronzer. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on a Coastal Scents brush, and I'm just going to take this and put it a little bit underneath my cheekbones, and then I'm just going to take the remaining product of this and kind of run it along my hairline and a little bit underneath my jawline. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of this and do the same thing on the other side. So with whatever little product is remaining on this brush, I usually just take it and squeeze it a little bit like this. And I usually just go a little bit down the sides of my nose just to give a slight contour, but nothing too crazy. And then I go a little bit underneath the tip just to refine it a little bit. Alright, so for blush and highlight, I'm going to be using this L'Oreal True Match Lumi Powder Blush and Glow. This is kind of like a highlight, blush, bronzer, glow all in one. So I'm just gonna take this and kind of swirl my brush a little bit into all 4 of the colors there, tap it off, and I'm going to just kind of use this on my cheekbones as a blush and kind of a highlight. And it's actually really, really gorgeous. They have 2 shades of these. One is a little bit more of a frostier pink, and this one has a little bit more gold tone in it. So I picked up the gold tone one, and it actually is gorgeous. And I'm also just gonna take a little bit of that and put it on my forehead, down my nose, a little bit on my cupid's bow, and just a little bit on my chin, just so I get that all over glow effect. Okay, so moving on to the brows. I don't like to do too much of them every day, so I'm just going to take this NYX brow pencil and ever so slightly brush them out and then slightly fill them in. And I actually like to fill in my brows starting from the tail end and working my way in. So I'll just take this and lightly fill in these ends here, and I will slightly bring it into the middle and lightly define this front end here, but not too much. I just like to keep it defined on the outer end, and then I'm just gonna go in and brush it out. So to keep things super simple for the eyes, I'm actually just gonna go back in with that same bronzer that I used, and I'm going to take that on a fluffy brush and just blend that into the crease of my eye. And this is pretty much just going to add definition to my eye without adding too much. So I'm just taking that bronzer and I am blending it into the crease of both of my eyes. And you can really use any kind of bronzer for this. This one is the NYX one that I used today, and it's a matte bronzer. So it's actually really good for this look. So this is gonna give you a natural eye looking contour without being too crazy. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more of that and kind of just go over my lid space a little bit, just to give my eyes a little further definition. Then I'm gonna go in and do the same thing to the other eye. Just place this all over my lid and blend it out. Then I'm just gonna take a little bit on the brush and I'm going to run that underneath my lower lash line. And this is just going to further define everything and pretty much connect it so it all kind of comes together. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to this other eye. Just place this bronzer slightly underneath your lash line and blend it out. And if I didn't mention this before, this is actually an e.l.f. concealer brush, which is pretty much used to blend out your under eye concealer, which I've actually used it for that and it works really great. But I've actually been using it lately to blend out my eyeshadow when I kind of do this look, and it's been working really great just because it's big and fluffy and gets the job done. So like I said, this was e.l.f. Alright, so next I'm going to take another e.l.f. flat shader brush, and I'm actually going to go into that L'Oreal True Match Lumi blush and highlight. And I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to place a little bit of it underneath my brow bone to highlight. And I'm also going to take this color as well and place it in the inner corners of my eyes. This is just going to basically highlight and brighten my eyes and my brow bone as well. And the cool thing about using multiple products like this is you don't need a ton of products to do your whole face. So this I use as my blush, my highlighter, and I'm actually using it as eyeshadow now. So it's a really great universal product to use all around. So I'm actually going to take a little bit of that as well and place it on the middle of my eye. And this is really just going to bring extra highlight and glow to the look and kind of just pull it all together really naturally. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side and just place a little bit of it on the ball of my eye essentially. Alright, so moving on to mascara, I'm just going to give my lashes a quick curl. And I usually use the Revlon eyelash curler, which actually works really great. So I usually hold this for about 10 to 20 seconds or so, just so that way I get a really nice curl, and it makes it a lot easier for the mascara to go on. It makes your lashes look a lot better, easier. Alright, so moving on to mascara, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Miss Manga Voluminous Mascara. And I'm just going to take this and place it on my top and bottom lashes. And I usually go ahead every day and do 1 to 2 coats, just kind of depending on how I'm feeling. But this mascara actually works really well and gives you a ton of volume. So if it's an everyday look, you probably only need like 1 coat, but I'm probably gonna go in with 2 just because I like long lashes. I actually recently just picked up this mascara and I have been loving it. Especially for a drugstore mascara because it's so hard to find a good one that keeps your lashes up and lasting all day long without flaking too much. But this one, so far, so good. It's giving me a really nice curl and it's actually keeping my lashes up so far. So we'll definitely have to see how this goes. So after my second coat of mascara, I just like to take whatever is left over on the brush and I go and put that on my lower lashes just because I don't like too much product on my lower lashes, just because I think it looks a little unnatural. So I just place a little bit there and a little bit there. Alright, so that is the mascara, and if I actually got any mascara on my eyeshadow on the top, I'll actually go back in with that same fluffy brush that I used to apply my eyeshadow, and I'll just kind of go in and go back over that as soon as everything is dry, just because if any mascara got there and it was dried off, it'll pretty much just flake off once you do that. Then I'm just going to do the same thing with my under eyes. I'm just going to go back in with that e.l.f. brush that I used to powder with and just go ahead and brush underneath my eyes, just in case any fallout got there from putting on the mascara. Alright, and lastly for lips, I'm going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Never Fail Lip Liner in the shade Nude, which is probably my all-time favorite lip liner, not even from the drugstore, just ever, and it is from the drugstore. And I've actually had this for a really long time, and I use it all the time, so it's lasted me a pretty good amount of time. So I'm just going to take this and line my lips. I don't do anything too crazy because I don't want my lips to look fake or anything like that. So I'll just pretty much go around the natural line of my lip and slightly fill in my lips just so that when my lipstick sticks onto it really nicely. So I'm just going to start at the corners of my mouth and then I kind of go and work my way into the middle of my mouth. So once I have that lined and filled in, I'll just go ahead and take my finger and slightly blend it in. Alright, so for lipstick, I'm actually just going to take this L'Oreal Color Exclusive lipstick, and this is the Nude lipstick in 370, and it's actually Jennifer's Nude. If you guys are familiar with the line, a couple of celebrities actually have their own nude lipstick with L'Oreal, and this one is Jennifer Lopez's Nude, and it is actually the perfect nude. So I'm just going to take this and put it on my lips. And these lipsticks are actually super creamy and they last a long time too, which is amazing. So once I have that on my lips, I'm just going to take my finger again and just slightly tap and blend it out. Alright, so the last and final step is just basically setting your makeup so that way it lasts all day. That way all this hard work wasn't for nothing. So I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Setting Makeup Spray. I've actually used this quite a few times and this is my second bottle, which means I actually love it. So I'm just going to take this, go about 8 to 10 inches away from the face and just pretty much spray myself until I feel like I'm completely doused in it. That way my makeup lasts all day long. Alright guys, so that was it for this tutorial. I know it was super easy and super quick, but that's the beauty about this makeup. It's perfect for every day and even for the summertime. So if you guys are interested in finding any of these products, you can find them at any drugstore or even an Ulta near you. So I'll go ahead and link them all down below for you guys just in case you're interested in trying any of them out. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and let us know what you guys want to see next. If you want to see makeup tutorials, hair videos, whatever it is, leave them in the comments below and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!